All right, let's roll. Welcome.
You're listening to the Saddle Up Podcast,
where we discuss everything related to UTRGV athletics, past or present. We'll catch up with old teammates, friends, and take you down memory lane.
with exclusive interviews.
This is the Saddle Up Podcast, the voice of your covered walkway streets.
So dope.
This is gonna be awesome.
Stay tuned for new episodes every week.
From Bronx Village to the Fieldhouse, we'll cover it all.
Hell yeah, dude. Carpe diem.
So saddle up and let's go.
Let's go. Saddle up, partner.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the show this week. Again, this week we have a phenomenal guest. I say it every week, but I've never let you down. I know we're only a couple episodes in, but when I tell you this man who is joining us today is one of the best human beings, one of the greatest coaches the Valley has ever seen, and he is a walking encyclopedia for Valley basketball. And we have the honor to welcome Coach Mo Molina to the show. He is a friend, he is a mentor, and Coach Mo, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and joining our show this week.
Thank you, Coach.
Glad to be here, guys, and glad to see you guys. I hadn't seen you guys in a long while.
Yes, we got to get together soon.
Yeah.
Yep.
We do.
Probably the last time probably I saw you was when you were with me at San Benito. People don't know this, but G was my top assistant.
Yes.
At basketball.
And then he got fired, right, Coach? Did he get fired?
Well, they put the pressure on me. No, man, G was awesome. That was awesome. I always like to hire young kids or young guys that of course that know basketball and because I like to use them as demonstrators. I can't quite get up and down anymore, but they serve so many purposes and so G was one of my good ones. I was sad to see him go, but
it was a pleasure, Coach Mo, and I'll always forever be grateful for that opportunity that you gave me at San Benito. And it's reciprocal. You know, I felt the same way about you. You know, as like an opportunity to learn from, you know, one of the greatest coaches to coach in the Valley, and obviously with your, you know, how we knew you, you know, growing up at Pan American, you know, with Brian, and we would all hang out, and we were, you know, you were our family. I mean, you would, you and Miss Mo would cook the best spaghetti.
Oh my gosh!
you
Hey,
guys were part of the family. Help yourself to the refrigerator.
Oh, I know.
It was always full. And Matt came on later.
Some of my fondest memories were hanging out. Y'all lived right there on JK Street, Coach. Remember that? And I remember, like, you know, in college we didn't have a lot of money, right? And so, you know, Brian didn't live with you guys. Riss did, but you know, it was kind of like after practice or on the weekends when the cafeteria was closed, it was kind of like, all right, what are we gonna do? You know, like, let's go hang out. We would all sit around at the kitchen table there on JK Street, and we would just talk basketball, and we would laugh. We'd sit in the living room. We would just, and I mean, those are some, and you know, Mama Mo, she would always cook for us. Like it was a great time to be alive.
Well, did you guys one Christmas? You know, all the basketball guys at Pan Am, they all went home. You know. But I don't know if guys remember that they spent Christmas with us.
Big O and Kali'i and I think Renee spent Christmas with you guys.
Renee. So they spent Christmas with us. I mean, they all got Christmas gifts, and then they all, you know, Christmas dinner. And let's see, who was the baby then? Oh, I think Jay. Was Jay
Jay, yeah.
Jay
was
Jay
small.
was
Jay was like 4 or 5.
he was a baby, and
Yeah.
guys would play with his toys and play with him.
Yeah.
Man, that is so
man,
awesome.
we look back to those days and said, man, you know, those are great days at Pan Am, you know, and of course going to the games and during pregame warm up, little Brian would go down there and line up with you guys, and we bought him a jersey, and it said, I think it had his name on there, and it said Bronx, and and I mean the fans would all go crazy. And
I remember, y'all had season tickets right there next to Judge Hinojosa, who's still a big supporter of the program, and you know he's a friend of the show. But I remember that. Now that was in the mid '90s, Coach. So obviously, you know, bringing you on, you know, we could reminisce all day, but you know, one of the reasons why we wanted to bring you on was to establish the foundation, like we were telling you. Tell us about when you were going to the games in the early 60s, when it wasn't UTRGV and it wasn't Pan Am. It was what, Coach? Elaborate on that a little bit. Tell us about that time.
Well, you know, we had a lot of contact with Pan Am because when I remember that it was the old campus where the old auditorium is now. And we had the new campus, and this was 60. Well, no, I take it back. 65 to 69. I was in. I was at Pan American College, and a lot of the buildings. It was originally it was Pan American Junior College, or Edinburgh Junior College. You know, way back then. And of course, some of the buildings were there. So we had the old campus, and there were some business courses there, music. And then there was the new campus, which is across the tracks. Or the tracks still there? I don't remember. But where the campus is now. And there were the few buildings. I remember the LA building, the science building. You know, it's not like it is now.
No.
And the gym was, I believe, is where the new gym is now, but it was an old place. I mean, but it had 2 baskets on of course, at the ends, and we spent a lot of hours there. You know, once we got out of high school, you know, most of us stayed in Edinburgh. I mean, we went to.
And you grew up in Edinburgh, right, Coach? Like, I know you live in Harlingen now with the fam, and y'all have kind of migrated that way, right? I think Riss is the only one still in McAllen at Rowe, but you grew up in Edinburgh, right? Your family, your brothers and your sisters.
Edinburgh. Since elementary school, middle school, and of course high school, and so once the new high school was built, then of course we moved over. Like my first year in high school, I think I was a freshman. Yeah, a freshman. And that was the year that our new high school opened over there by the golf course. I think it's Edinburgh South or one of the middle schools. So anyway, but that's where we first, you know, and there was no doubt we were going to Pan Am because, you know, like I was telling Matt earlier that, excuse me.
Oh, you're good, Coach.
I'm getting hoarse.
You're fine, Coach. No, you're good.
I talked too much already. Anyway,
we'll let G take over then. Well, G, just take over. G, go ahead.
I can talk about Coach Mo for hours. What do you want?
I could too. I could too.
So anyway, we had a large family. There was 9 of us in our family, and but one of the things that that my dad always instilled in us is or impressed on us is get an education.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't want to work out in the fields and all stuff like that. So I don't know how he did it, you know, because my mom didn't work, and so that my sister and I went to school at the same time. So
Wow.
how they did it, I have no idea. And
Wow.
That's
then,
amazing. That's amazing.
yeah,
Now,
and this was Pan American College. So I've always in my neighborhood growing up, I was the only basketball guy. Everybody played baseball because we lived out in the country. Everybody
yeah.
played baseball, and everybody played a little football, but mostly baseball. And I was the only weird one that bounced the basketball. My
It
dad,
was destiny. It was
you know,
destiny.
I wrote a little bio, a little autobiography, because they asked me to write something, and I wrote a short one, and I tell all these things, but my dad would build up I would play out on the dirt. I mean, it was obviously not paved, and the first time I just drew a circle. I would draw a circle like outside the wall, and so I would have a target to shoot at. And
Wow.
so yeah, that's what I would do. That's how I learned how to play baseball too.
So
Pitching
let me
ground
ask you.
balls. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Coach. Let me ask you this. Who you saw? We were talking off camera right before we started. You saw that Texas Western team play against Pan American College, and for those of you who don't know, Texas Western, if you've ever seen the movie Glory Road, won the national championship against the University of Kentucky, a powerhouse at the time, with Pat Riley. And if you haven't seen the movie, I suggest you go and rent it, stream it, whatever you got to do. But you saw, and I've got a friend of mine that's on that team, but you saw that team actually play against Pan American College and Otto Moore and those guys, correct?
Otto, yeah.
Wow.
And yeah.
Wow.
Where was that game, Coach? Where was that game at Pan Am?
It was in that little building, that little gym that was
field?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you drive by there,
Crazy.
you'll see it. It's on the left-hand side, because that used to be the old high school, and the football field there, and right below that, the scoreboard is, you would walk into the gym. I mean, you could probably sit about 100 people, but that thing was packed. I don't know how I went to the game, because we lived out in the country, and I don't think my parents drove me to the game, but somehow or other I went to the game.
You got to the game. Found a way, Coach.
Yeah.
You found a way.
You were a basketball junkie.
Yeah.
Now, one question that I want to put on record, right? Who taught Brian Molina how to shoot? Like, I want to know, was it you or Mama Mo that taught Brian how to shoot?
I think it was Mama Mo. Yeah. She always says they didn't get their athletic ability from your dad. They got it from me. Okay.
Well, speaking of that athletic ability, Coach Mo, how was it in high school? Did you play basketball in high school? Did you get a chance to?
Yeah. We lived out in the country, and about 7 miles from Edinburgh, in a little community known as Fayetteville. And a lot of the youth sports that people play today, that kids play today, were in Edinburgh. So, it was tough for them to get me to come to Edinburgh to practice and stuff.
Yeah.
But like I said, not too many kids played basketball like today. It was more baseball. So, what I'm very proud of is, because I really, unless you were 6'8" or like Matt, 6-7 footer, you really didn't play after high school. That was the end of your career. So, but I played a lot of baseball. Played all over the place. I played with a lot of the Pan Am guys, guys like during my time, and I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget, like Rene Torres, Bucky.
Rene Torres. That's right.
Rene, Lupe Canu, Felipe Leal, Not Garcia, all those guys.
Wow.
And it was during when I was playing high school. But what I was proud of it is that I didn't get to play Little League, Pony League, or the first time that I played organized baseball was when I was a sophomore. But I could always play baseball because we out in the country we found an open space and we would play baseball there.
Stand a lot, huh?
So I was real good at catching ground balls because smooth surfaces or stuff. So anyway, so I made the varsity as a sophomore, not having played an inning of organized ball, but the coach Esparza was Tommy Esparza was our coach, and
wow.
He always liked me, and coach. I call everybody coach.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good, coach. No worries.
So
I used to be.
So I even started a couple of games as a sophomore. I was scared to death. Please don't hit it to me. Please don't hit it to me. So what happens? They hit it right at me. It takes bounce off my chest. I'll never forget that. And after that, I would say, "Go, please don't hit it to me." But basketball wise, yeah, I played in the 7th grade and 8th grade, and of course on the varsity. But that was it. But
so how did you get into the love for coaching? I mean, obviously, you when we hear the name Coach Mo, we immediately connected to basketball. Even though you grew up playing baseball and I'm sure you were good at any sport that you would have chosen. But and a coach can coach anything, Coach Mo. You know that. You could throw. I mean, you could coach hockey. Out here in the field.
To me, that is probably my biggest strength. I can relate to kids, and the kids relate to me, and I win them over, and I can get them to do whatever I ask them to do. But I always liked basketball since I was a little kid, and like I said, I played by myself. I'd make up games, and I'd make up and NBA game players. Bob Cousy, that was my favorite team.
That was your favorite one.
Yeah, Bill Russell.
I'd like to share something. Yeah, it's amazing. So, Coach, you've been coaching high school. You never went to the collegiate level. You've always been a staple in Valley High School sports, right?
Yes.
But the one thing that really, and I remember this because you were asked by the athletic director at Pan Am at the time, I believe it was 97-ish. It was the spring of 97. You were asked to be on the hiring committee for the head coach for Pan Am, which ultimately ended up hiring Coach Delray Brooks, who I and G played for, right? That in itself speaks volumes and so much respect because you were a high school coach, and not taking that against you, but there was so many high school coaches in the Valley at the time that the athletic director could have chosen anybody, but he stepped to you and says, "Hey, Mo, we want you to be a part of this hiring committee." And I remember you telling us stories there at JK Street at that little place that y'all had, who was calling you, who was kind of lobbying for who, that just kind of elaborate on that a little bit. But I just want to, again, just the respect that you had for being who you are for so many years and decades, it's tremendous, and we're blessed to have you on the show. So speak about that a little bit.
Yeah. My phone would ring at night, and which Mama Mo would answer the phone because I if I don't know who it is, I won't answer. So he goes, I can't remember the name, Floyd, he coached at, oh my gosh, man, I should have written all this stuff down. But anyway, a big time coach, college coach. Well, I think he was recommending his assistant, or hey Mo, so hey, how you doing? Blah. I didn't know him from Adam. So we talked, and I knew what it was about. They wanted to commend their, and several calls like that, and I said, man, all of a sudden I become famous now. And one of them also was trying to sell himself as,
Wow.
I think it was a guy, I don't want to.
Let's not name any names. But,
from Arkansas State or one of those schools, and he was trying to sell himself, and so you talked to him for a while, but let's say eventually we ended up hiring Delray, but I got to know a lot of the people, the athletic director. I can't remember who he was at the time, but nice people, and really, like Matt was saying, I said, who, me? You know. So what am I doing sitting here with all these, but it was fun, interviewing these people, and because I think they wanted me to ask basketball related questions, talk offense, talk defense, and they took care of all the other stuff, the academics, and so
I remember after Coach Adams was let go, prior to the hiring of Coach Brooks, we would show up at Memorial High School in the afternoons. You remember that, G? And Coach Mo. Coach Mo would.
It was awesome.
Yeah, he would open up the gym, and we would play against your guys. But then that was the only run that we could get, because we weren't organized. We were a band of misfits, and the only gym we could get into was Memorial. And I Coach, remember those days.
Yeah, and Coach, I know we can talk about your Memorial Day, but was that your first coaching job out of college? What was your first coaching job?
My first coaching job was at Coakley Middle School in Harlingen.
In Harlingen. Wow. And so you went back to your all right.
Yeah, the funny story about that one was that I was probably the only coach that got promoted overnight, because they hired me. I was going to be assistant 7th grade football, which was great. I mean, I was green right out of school. So that night, the athletic director, somehow or other, called me, or he got a hold of me, because I'm saying they weren't cell phones at the time. You had to climb up a pole to get on the. So anyway, he says, Rosmo, yes sir. This is Coach Swoonmore.
You thought you were fired already, huh?
You've been promoted.
What?
You're now going to be the head 8th grade coach. Holy smoke! From a green, now I'm in charge.
Wow!
So, especially football, Mm-hmm. So that was but anyway, I got drafted, went to the military, and it was during the Vietnam War, so they were taking all of us. So I got back, and they offered me the Rio Hondo basketball job.
Oh, okay.
So one of the coaches that was at Harlingen High School recommended me to him, and so on his word, he hired me, and so that was my first
Actual basketball job was Rio Hondo.
Actually, varsity football, basketball, because at Coakley,
Basketball.
I was going to be the freshman basketball coach. So I coached
Oh, okay.
one year of
So you go
freshman basketball.
So just to recap, you got promoted overnight without a lick of experience.
Exactly.
And then you get drafted, you go off to Vietnam, you come back, and then you coach a year, and then all of a sudden you're varsity basketball after a year of experience. So you've got
You
1
were
year and
destined.
1 day. Yeah.
You were
No wonder
destined
why you
for-
were asked
for
to be on the no wonder why you were asked to be on the hiring committee. Like
No, what happened is a big break that I got was, you guys know Coach Garcia, Roy Garcia.
Roy Garcia,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, at Mission High School.
Mission.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I originally went after San Benito, because I was at San Benito after when I got back from the service. I was there for 3 years at San Benito because I wanted to move up to a bigger school. So they hired me at Mission primarily as a football coach, because I was football first. Mind you, I hadn't a lick of experience in football. And I was the assistant basketball coach to Roy Garcia. That was my big break, because Roy was an awesome coach.
It's an awesome coach.
He passed away last year.
Yes, legendary, legendary.
I picked his brain a lot, and watched because Mission High School at the time, I mean, we'd win it every year, and at that time there was only one district champion, and that's who went to the playoffs.
Wow.
And so you were the best in the valley in our division. So anyway, one thing led to another. The football coach thought that I was too much basketball and I wasn't helping their. He made up a story, and to this day I'm bitter about that, because people that know me, they know me the way I really am. That I was always late for practice. And I go, my gosh. But went back to Pan Am, I was working on my master's, and I was taking a course on school law.
Wow.
Man, I was an immediate lawyer. So because Coach Garcia told me, he said, look, the football coach doesn't want you, and he said, but tell him you want to meet with me in my office. So he told me what he was saying about me, and I said, man, anybody that knows me know that's not true. So I killed him. You have any documentation?
Not literally.
Not literally.
He's not confessing on this podcast.
He's not confessing. This is not a first on the podcast. No, we're just making sure.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You have any documentation? Well, no. Okay. I had to learn that in school law. And all these legal things.
Yeah.
When he left there, man, he left with a tail between his legs.
Oh, nice.
Coach,
nice. Not only that, I said, I quit football, because Roy had told me. He said, Roy says you can be with me the whole time, and he said, can you coach another sport? I go, well, I like baseball. Well, as a matter of fact, we have an opening in baseball. So,
oh my goodness.
So
that's amazing.
That was a little bit that I coached. For a little bit that I coached baseball, because I played a lot of it, but never coached it.
Coach Mo, that coach's wife probably thought you were cute, and then he just held it. He held it against you.
He held it against you. Yeah. Now let me ask you. We've got about 5 more minutes left, but out of all the basketball that you've seen in the Valley, and not just high school, but let's just focus on Pan Am. What is either one of the best teams that you've seen, because you've seen decades, you've seen the 70s, the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, right? What is like one of the most memorable teams that you saw play like that you've actually got to see at Pan Am, like that stands out in your memory? Like what year, what coach, like what player?
I think the year that they won the NAIA national championship, when Luke Jackson,
Tony De La Pena, all those guys.
Jim Board, because Jim Board he's still here, so he became one of our favorites, and Ramiro Villegas from Rio Grande City. Gosh, but I remember Luke Jackson. He was our hero. Of course, he got drafted by the 76ers and played on the Olympic team. So to me, that was really the team that stands out, And of course, I wasn't very old. I don't really remember how old I was, but I remember watching their games.
You just remember those guys, yeah.
Yeah.
Coach Mo, I want to piggyback a little bit on that question. What would be that's your favorite team? And I think you might have already said that, who your favorite player was, but who would be the best player in your eyes to ever put on a Bronc uniform, excluding Matt Palmquist?
Excluding Matt Palmquist?
Yes.
Brian Molina or
absolutely.
To me, I'm still pissed. At Coach Adams, because Brian would go in there and hit and knock the shot. He was a great shooter.
Phenomenal shooter.
But he was so small that he really didn't play as much as I thought he should have. And
he should have played a lot more. He should have played a lot more. Yeah.
Coaches, through a coach's eyes. Absolutely.
So I'm still bitter at that, but I'm just being a parent, I guess,
Absolutely.
So, but I enjoyed going to those games, and I got to meet a lot of, his teammates we were their parents, really, like you said.
You were.
You were.
We really enjoyed those years, and
Coach Mo, what would be at the time when you were going to school there at Pan Am College? What was your favorite hangout place? Or you hung out with your friends?
Let me tell you,
because I know Matt and I have a good.
Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story. English class. I won't say the professor, but in high school I was in the honors classes. I breezed through high school, not even having to study. Typical high school. It came easy. Okay, so I thought my first year at Pan Am, English class, first semester, and Mr. Molina, the professor, said, "Your chances of passing here are slim and none." Boy, nobody had ever told me that, because our favorite spot was the center, the go play pool or
the student center.
Going to class. So, man, from then on, that was the turning point. Even when I went to graduate school, I remembered that, But it took that. Your chances of passing here are slim and none.
It's a shocking reality, right? It's like, whoa, like,
My gosh. So, but going back to your question, I guess the center, the recreation center.
Was it the recreation?
G's favorite spot is Starlight Burger. We've already made that. Yeah,
Coach Mo,
that's already on wax.
We got suggestions to go to Starlight Burger, and we need to try that burger. I don't know if you ever tried it before, or if that was a staple to eat there, but
which was it?
Starlight Burger.
Scott. Where was that?
It was over there. There was two at the time in the 90s, but the original one was over there by the courthouse, like a half a block from the courthouse. and then off of University, and then they had another one when we were going to school. It was right next door to that Pizza Hut across the street from the school.
I think I know what.
So where was your favorite place to eat? Where'd all the buddies hang out? Where did you all go eat? What was your go-to?
It probably goes back to when we were in junior high. It wasn't the Blue Cat. The one right across from the high school, from the old high school.
Wow, the Blue Cat. We need to bring that back. Like, hey,
we need to bring it back.
Meet me at the Blue Cat.
The Blue Cat was at Coakley when I was at Coakley.
That sounds like a great dive bar. Like, meet me at the Blue Cat, you know?
Wow, Coach Mo.
That's amazing. Well, Coach, we would love to have you back. This has been a tremendous honor for you to be a guest on the show, and one of the first ones. And we would love to have you back. And we just want to sing your praises now, because you've been such a positive and great influence on not just my life and G's life, but on so many, and thank you for bringing us Brian, who's one of our best friends, who's going to probably be a guest on the show at some point in a couple of years. But yes, thank you so much for being who you are. You and Mama Mo have meant so much indirectly to the program, because like you said, bringing players into your house for Christmas, attending games, and doing so much for the athletes, and being a part of the history of the program. So thank you, Coach Mo, for everything that you've done.
You're very welcome, guys. And anytime you need me, I'm here.
And if you want to see Coach Mo in action, he's not coaching football anymore, but you can find him roaming the sidelines at MMA.
One last
Marine
story.
Military Academy.
One last thing. Throughout my coaching career, we win district by district, area, blah blah blah. Yeah. But I had never been to the Final Four.
But you made it.
This year I had a good crop of kids that came in, and we went, because we don't play that many games. We went 13-1, and we lost in the state. We made to the Final Four.
Yeah.
At Brownwood, and at Howard Payne, and of course we lost the first round against a group from Dallas. But I finally reached that goal.
Oh, Coach, you got so much more to accomplish. You have so much more to accomplish, and you made it to the Final Four. Yeah, you're gonna make it to the championship. I promise you. So if anybody can do it and if you got promoted in one night and you didn't even coach yet, like you can make a championship.
I think I have the record for that, being promoted overnight.
Well, you got the record in my book. You got the record in my book as being one of my favorite coaches and favorite people that I know. So
thank you, man.
Thank you, Coach Mo, for joining the show, and
thank you for taking us down memory lane.
Yes,
you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Okay,
and guys, tune in next week for another episode. We'll have, I don't know if the guest is going to be as great as Coach Mo, but Mo,
I'd hate to be the guy. I'd hate to be the guest that's following Coach Mo. I'd hate to.
Yeah,
hate to do it.
Exactly.
Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it.
Take care, Coach.